what's happening with y'all? It's your boy Shay coming back at y'all with another episode of the Emmaus Proposition. Man, I hope everybody's doing well, man. I hope everybody's getting blessed by the Lord. Is seeking the Lord's favor, man. Is seeing God shine in their lives. Something crazy these days, cause the world is wild right now. So much stuff is going on. We got people in politics going like falling like flies. These people, man, they so crooked. Taking all kind of secret documents and stuff like that. All kind of stuff is going on, man. We got movie stars and everybody wilding out. We got people that don't know what a moral is if it smacked them in the face, man. People got no morals or values anymore, man. The world is just wilding out. But here on the Emmaus Proposition, man, we're just gonna keep pointing to Christ, man. In the midst of all kind of craziness, in the midst of all kind of stuff going on in the world, people don't know up from down, left from right. Matter of fact, they're confusing this for that. Things that's supposed to be this is now that. All kind of crazy, wild stuff. People hiding stuff in plain sight. If y'all missed the episode that I did last week on 1984, we living in 1984 right now, man. It's a wild time to be alive. And man, I'm joining in with the saints, man. Come quickly, Lord Jesus. This place is out of control. But until the Lord comes back to put it all to shame, man, we're just gonna keep kicking it. We're gonna keep pointing people to Jesus. We're gonna keep having these discussions on how to take anything in our normal day-to-day lives and point it to Christ in some kind of form or fashion, man. Whether by type or anti-type. Whatever it is, everything is from, through, and about Jesus. Everything is from Him, through Him, and to Him. Surely to God be the glory alone, like Shiloh would say. So that's what we're going to do over here on the Emmaus Proposition. We're going to keep it cracking. But today I wanted to talk to y'all about, man, we got to talk about all these bodies that's dropping down, man. So we just had the football player on the Bills. I think his last name was Hamlin. During the game, he passed out, had some kind of heart issue, went down, and this stuff has been happening the last couple years, but now it's starting to get some media attention. So I guess now that the media is starting to pay attention, I guess now it's real. It's crazy. Because unless the media says it's real, it's not real. But we've had all kind of soccer players going down. We've had all kind of basketball players go down, clutching their heart, man. We've had people going down face first on stage and in subway systems. They got them on like CCTV. People just kind of collapsing. And a little while back, me and my wife heard about this documentary called, what was it called? It was called Died Suddenly. It was called Died Suddenly. And so we watched that, and it was very informative, man. I kind of, there's a part of me wish we hadn't watched it. You ever watch something and you're like, man, like I would have rather been ignorant to what was actually going on. Like, this is crazy. And so if y'all haven't seen that documentary, man, I would highly suggest it. Open your eyes up maybe to some stuff that's going on. I've been hip to this stuff, man. Just because this has been, my life. If y'all been rocking with me for a while now, this is what we've been talking about, man. Like all the stuff, all the people getting injured from people playing God, trying to make up stuff and hurting people, right? Like people are actually getting hurt, and people were like, yeah, no, ain't nobody getting hurt. This thing is saving lives and it's saving people from hospitalization and all this other kind of stuff. And then you look at the numbers and you're like, no, y'all not telling the full truth, man. People are getting hurt, and you're like, oh, well, those are just minor. Like every kind of thing has that. Like every new substance we put on the market has a little bit of that. But it's like, no, if you go back and look at the numbers on the on like the government websites and stuff like that, The numbers ain't looking hot, man. And hopefully y'all know what I'm talking about, man. I don't want to get too explicit because I ain't, I'm still up and coming. I ain't trying to get flagged a whole bunch. I be talking about some wild stuff on here. But yeah, they're trying to hide stuff. They're trying to, and then the people that are telling you, yeah, no, everything's fine. This is safe and effective and all that other stuff. They're the people that's selling the product. So how you going to have the person that's selling you the product give you an accurate description of what their product is doing? Come on, man. That's a huge conflict of interest. You can't do that. You got to have outside sources. You got to have testing. You got to have trials that last a long time. You can't just throw stuff on people and forcefully inject it into them and then say, just deal with it if you get hurt. And the company that's forcing it on you is not liable because they signed some contracts and stuff like that. So man, it's been a crazy couple of years, man. Chronicling this stuff, looking at it, being affected by it. Watching people, like good people, go down. Watched a lot of people go down. Some of them like with some kind of injury. Other ones just tired of the fight. And they're just like, you know what? I give up. There's been a lot, man, and we've gone through a lot the last couple of years, and people are starting to pay attention and wake up to it. And that Left Behind, I'm sorry, not Left Behind. that died suddenly. Documentary, man, that was crazy, man. Like they brought some stuff to light. I don't want to ruin it for nobody, but like they just show like video after video after video after video. People just they're there, they're interacting 1 minute, and then bloop, they ain't there no more. And it's not respiratory. The original virus was respiratory. All this stuff is like heart stuff. And so they went in with doctors, and the doctors was talking about how you had like normal blood clots are one thing, right? Those are like it's a blood, it's like coagulated blood, but the stuff that they're pulling out of people, man, it's like that long. Like, if y'all listening on the podcast, man, yo, thank y'all for rocking with me, man. I appreciate y'all. I'm holding up my fingers, like it's like a 1.5 feet, 2 feet long of these fibroid clots that are in people's veins that they're pulling out. Like blood can't get through because these things are just like engulfing people's veins and stuff, man. Like the documentary is crazy, and then they went into all the developers of it and all the stuff they've said, and they went into, oh my gosh, man, it was so much, man, and they went into like maternity wards. That was the one that was crucial, man. Like that was bad. They went into maternity wards and was like, yeah, the number of miscarriages we've had and the number of stillborns we've had, and it hit me too, right? Because like just a week or two ago, I was in the hospital with a family that had to deliver a stillborn, and man, if y'all are ever curious as to like what a human being looks like at like 25 weeks, it's a human. It's a human. I don't know what clump of cells games people like to play. These are human beings, and so to watch them be born stillborn, man, is brutal. I can't imagine doing it day after day, man. And then you try to bring up in your medical opinion what you think the problem is, and people just shut you down and threaten to take your license away, take your livelihood away, slander your name through the mud just because you're trying to help people. Like you're trying to uphold your Hippocratic oath to do no harm, and they out here playing politics and all that other kind of stuff. So you got it was a really good documentary, man. It was heartstrings. The stuff ain't, I wish I could say it was funny. There was some parts in there that was kind of, you got to make light of it a little bit because it's devastating, man. Like what's happened on a world scale, man. We still don't know the effects, man. We're only a year into this. Most of those trials are supposed to last like 9 years before you put stuff on the market. We have no idea. And to the man, hopefully, like, pleading with God, this stuff just passes through people's system. You know what I mean? Like, over time, if they just back off and allow the mistake to just kind of to cycle through, hopefully there's no like massive, large scale ramifications for this stuff, man. But we don't know. Like, we're dependent on God for, you know, people trying to play God, thinking they are God, thinking they can set up these systems, like they can just pump stuff into people. They not God. Trying to get people to fear them. I'm feeling some Mos Def in my system right now. Mos Def on this intro to Black on Both Sides. Yeah, man, but they, you know, you got people playing these games with people's lives for the sake of power, or whatever their stuff is, man. But they, you know, they out there meeting at the WEF, and they talking about all this kind of stuff, and they pre-planning when stuff is going to go down, and man, it's crazy, and they've been doing it for a long time. So highly suggest y'all go watch that documentary, man. I'll put the link in the description down below. Y'all can go check it out. Actually, you know what? No, I won't. I think you gotta go find it. I forget where we watched it on, but it's a good watch. Like, if you could find it, it was really worth watching. But anyway, people are starting to wake up to it. Is my point in all that. People are starting to wake up to the fact that, you know what, some stuff is happening, and we got these people that are super in shape. They ain't overweight. They ain't got no cardiac issues. They ain't got no respiratory issues. And man, they just gone. And people are starting to wake up. And I hope people are starting to wake up, because it should be freaking people out. And people should be rising up and saying, you know what, something's wrong, and we need to call a timeout. And all these places keep saying, like, yo, you need to get this in order to travel, you need to get this in order to be employed, and you get this in order to stay in the military, and we ain't going to apologize, even though data is suggesting that we were completely wrong. We ain't going to admit we wrong, because then we got to deal with the ramifications of being wrong. Yo, deal with the ramifications of being wrong, man. Like, we thought we was helping, and turns out the company that we were relying on wasn't being upfront. And so people are starting to call attention to it and pay attention. They're starting to say stuff, which is good, man. We need it. And one of the areas that obviously people are able to, like, express themselves is through art, right? Obviously, hip hop is an art form. And what's unique about hip hop, man, and I'm gonna just spew my love for hip hop real quick. You can pack into like 16 bars of music. You could pack in so much information. It has an advantage that most other genres of music don't have. Like, you can just pack in a whole bunch of stuff into a 16 bar set. And it's really impactful. Like, where most genres, like, you've got the lyrics, you got the bridge, you got the hook, you got the chorus, and like all that takes up space. In hip hop, like, you get this, and you done talk through the whole issue in one song. And obviously, you got to be a master wordsmith to get it in and make it sound, you know, somewhat fresh, so people will listen to it. You can't just come in being bunk or nothing like that. Like, you got to come with some heat and some bars, some one-liners. You got to make it a little competitive, because that's, you know, at the base of hip hop is all competition. In order to get people to listen to it, to where it sticks, you know what I mean? Like, it's got to like come with like a bop bop, like a 1-2 punch. And you know, you got cats that are out there right now that are doing that right now, right? Like, you got the dude that I talked about last week, you know, Bryson. He's out there. He's doing a good job, man. He's on a real, like, pro-American tip kind of thing. And the dude I'm gonna talk about today, Tyson James. He's another one, man, that's out there just like, yo, I'm a Christian. I am an American citizen. I'm conservative, and I'm gonna talk about these issues, because they are issues that need to be discussed. Like, people are getting hurt, and we need to be able to talk about it. And so he came out with a song, I want to say like a few days ago, and man, it's a banger. And there's some lines in there that's guaranteed to make both sides of the aisle upset. But that's what Christ should do, right? Christ offends, man. Like, when you start getting into something that's actually true, like, you ain't trying to play this political game. Like, when you out here representing the body of Christ, you're gonna offend some people, man. I've been through it here recently, where I'm just like, I'm tired of not saying stuff because stuff is too important. The people that I've been highlighting, they've been getting, flack, and people are just like, we just kind of don't care anymore. Like, it's getting to the point where we've been called all the names, we done got all the flack, we've been called all the coons and the Uncle Toms and the Sambos and all kind of stuff, right? All the names, demonized in all kind of spheres and everything else, and goodness gracious, I was just thinking about some of the stuff people have said to me. Anyway, I want to play y'all this video. And like I said, if y'all listening on the podcast, you're just gonna have to listen to it, man. But yo, thank y'all for the love, support. Keep telling folks about me, man. Yo, try to leave me maybe like a little rating. If you're listening on there, drop me a little something. Give me some stars over there if you like the content. If you want me to keep going, yo, drop some love, man. The only way more and more people see it, and for me to keep putting out content, is if folks are responding to it. So appreciate y'all and the love for listening. If you're over on the YouTubes, yo, thank you for the love, man. Yo, keep telling people, man. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Yo, y'all drop me some lines. If you don't like what I'm saying, drop me a line, man. Let me know. I'll hit you back. We can talk through it. If you're in town, we can get some lunch or something like that. We can go through some stuff. Maybe we can bring a camera. We can talk about it. We can talk about it on air. But yo, let me play y'all this video, man. We gonna talk through it a little bit, because to me it's fire, man. And so let me bring my little screen up here. I already got it loaded. Let's dive into this joint, man.
My goodness, look at all the bodies. This is what they wanted, dropping bodies.
Oof.
Every time I turn the TV on, they dropping bodies.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, the first time I saw that video of that lady passing out, and it's a longer clip, and I'm sure they shortened it just to kind of fit it in the video. But she was like staggering around, and I don't know if people thought she was drunk or what, but then when she hit that train, man, woo. But listen to what he's saying, like, it's just bodies just dropping left to right, bodies.
Chicago ain't got nothing on these bodies.
Oof, Chicago ain't got nothing on these bodies. And yo, straight up, go look at the VIR's website, man. Look at it's in the thousands. It's in the thousands. Like I brought it up early in the pandemic. Like, I want to say like a year or so into our efforts to try to curb it, and with the shot. And man, the majority of that list was that thing. It was that thing. And you had all kind of other, all kind of stuff on there, but that thing was, it was a lot of people on there. And that's not like people go into a website because they got a headache. This is doctors putting in this information into the system because they think their patients are having a serious adverse reaction. It's not like minor adverse reactions. It's like these are serious adverse reactions that doctors are putting in, and people are like, man, that's misinformation. Like, what? But they're like, he said Chicago ain't got nothing on these bodies. This thing is murking people.
They dropping left and right. We try to tell you about these bodies. Hey, we try to tell you about these bodies, but you didn't want to listen about these bodies. Now you might be
Yo,
dropping like
that one just happened with this lady. She was on the air, or at least I just saw it recently. She was on the air and just was like, and they cut her out. It's happening live on TV, man. I don't know if people are watching or not, but this stuff is going on.
the body. This is what they wanted. Take a look at all the naughty. Try to ban me after this song. Y'all reminded me of Rockin' Man. Call y'all Kim Jong with all the propaganda. Take a story, get your twist on. The people saying this safe and effective, man. Y'all been wrong. What's the body count? Buckle up, gonna be a rocky mount.
Oof. Man, this is fire. And like, dude got delivery, man. So I ain't really listened to a lot of his stuff before. This is like one of my first times listening to one of his songs. I'm definitely gonna go back and check him out though, because dude, as you listen to this song, there's a lot of times in hip hop like you get stuck in one flow pattern, and dude is good. So I already listened to this song once before. Dude is good about like he'll go through the pattern, but then he'll switch the pattern up just to show he got like that versatility, right? And like you'll see, man, he's got some flow to him.
People dropping, y'all just talking in the coffee lounge.
The dude's shirt said, "Well, I look like a lab rat." Oh man.
See people mocking, tell it's you upon that soggy ground. Man, look who talking. Man, you rocking with the Nazis now. First they take the guns, then make you comply with the mandates.
Oof.
You gon' rip it from my dead hands, ain't no band-aid.
Oof. 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 Goodness gracious. First they take a gun away, then they did the mandate. Oh my goodness gracious. Come on, man. You got to get through this process, man. Like, even if you, I don't know. Sometimes you got to be able to, like, if you don't like what he's saying, you know, that's one thing. You got to still appreciate the delivery and the bars he's dropping in here, man. Like, I'm agreeing with what he's saying, so I'm rocking with both.
Ain't dying from your juice, I didn't take it. Ain't in a trans state. You can't have this body. Pure blood, that's my campaign. Bodies.
Oh.
This is what they wanted, dropping bodies.
That's the one right there, the Buffalo Bills player. Just gone. Yeah, he was just gone. This dude is like 24 years old, man, and they say he had heart issues. Come on, man. You know, an NFL player, 24 years old. Like, we don't see stuff like this often, man. And it ain't. I'll keep playing it because it ain't just like onesie twosies, man. Like, people they're choosing not to talk about it.
Every time I turn the TV on, they dropping bodies. Chicago ain't got nothing on these bodies. They dropping left and right. We try to tell you about these bodies.
Hey, yo, straight up, I don't know if some of y'all ever played soccer before. You got to be in peak physical condition to run the entire time. Like, they are running the whole time. Like, if you ever watch a soccer match, they don't stop. And then they'll have like bursts, like big bursts where they, you know, they're running up the field real quick, but you're moving the whole time. Like football, you get plays off, you know, it's 11 players on the field, but you got like 70 players on the team total. You know what I'm saying? Like you get your rest. Like you run a big play, you go over to the sideline, you get some water, you get a breather, you get an oxygen mask, you good to go. Soccer ain't like that. Soccer, you playing like you running the whole time, especially if you one of the good players. Basketball the same way. You going over, coach gonna sub you out if you take a player something like that off. You coming out the game. You need a breather. So for these soccer players to be going down, and they all clutching their chests. Like they're clutching their hearts, man. It's not like they out of breath. They're elite athletes. They're clutching their hearts because something's going wrong.
We try to tell you about these bodies, but you didn't want to listen about these bodies.
All right, so Wendy Williams. So that for those of y'all that's listening, one of the clips they just played was Wendy Williams, and I know a lot of people will say, man, that whole Wendy Williams thing, that happened like a few years ago. But I listened to another interview that Tyson James just did with Van Hall over at LFR Family, man. And yo, if you ever watch this, man, shout out to you, man. I'm loving your content. I appreciate what you're doing over there. I'll be checking you out, and appreciate your perspective on stuff, man. Like, I really do appreciate how you try your best to come down the middle. So shout out to you, man. I appreciate you, and really love the interview you did with Tyson. But he was on there. He was like, "Yo, it's not just this latest one. This has been a thing, man, where they've been pumping people full of God knows what. Like, there's been all kind of stuff where people are getting these shots, these injections with these foreign pathogens and stuff like that, and it's been messing with people over the years, and we just kind of shrug it off. I know for a long time, people were like, "Yo, my kid was fine one day, took him to their shots, and then the next day, suddenly they got autism." And there was a lot of people that were going through that, and they were doing studies and investigating it and all kind of stuff. Like, are these shots necessary? Are they dangerous? And people just rolled on like, "Oh, well, of course you need to have your shots." And man, as you start like diving into it, maybe it's a rabbit hole, but as you start diving into this rabbit hole, man, it don't feel good. I'm gonna tell you that. Like, there's a lot of stuff where you're like, why are we continuing to do this, and we don't know the full ramifications of it? Like, we see people getting hurt, we know it's from this thing, but we say, well, because everybody ain't getting hurt, it must be okay, not realizing like thousands of people are getting hurt by this stuff. And with this latest one, thousands upon thousands of people are getting hurt, either hurt, permanently injured, or dying. Like, it's a hot mess in these streets. And yeah, it's about time people start saying stuff like, do I think that vaccines have been helpful for humankind for the most part? Yeah, I think there's some for sure. Polio, I think that was very helpful. Like, it was shown to have eradicated the thing, but that's by definition what a vaccine would do. If you have a virus, it eradicates the virus. The stuff we get every year, it don't eradicate nothing. That flu joint, ain't no cure for the common flu, and yet still we're pumping our body full of stuff, and now they're talking about manipulating it again and trying to combine the new joint with the flu shot and having all of that be mRNA and combining it all together, and they ain't doing no testing on it. This is us playing God, man, as if getting sick is a bad thing. It used to be, parents would be like throwing chickenpox parties. So if one kid got the chickenpox, they would throw a chickenpox party, make a party out of it, get all the kids sick at one time, because your body's natural responses help you. They work. Like, your body actually works the way God designed it. And so what we're doing right now is we're essentially saying, like, yeah, the body doesn't do what it's supposed to do, so we need to come up with our own thing. Yo, that's demonic, yo. That was the original temptation. Like, God can only take you so far. You could take yourself the rest of the way. Ain't that kind of what Satan said to Eve? You can capture the wisdom of God for yourself. God knows you're just trying to be like him. He knows you're not going to die. He knows your eyes are going to be open. You'll be just like him. Ain't that kind of what we doing? These companies are like, they're fooling people into thinking that God ain't going to take care of them, man. And I'm gonna drop y'all a verse like toward the end of this, man, where y'all gonna see, like, this is straight. Like, we need to read our Bibles. How about that? Because there's some stuff in the Bible that I think directly talks to this stuff. And Wendy Williams, though it wasn't a recent one, we've been playing these games for a long time. We've been shooting people up with stuff. We don't. When's the last time you stopped to ask the question, what's the ingredients inside the flu shot? When's the last time you asked your doctor that? Like, what's the ingredient list? And then you go through and do your research on what actually all of those ingredients are. When's the last time you did that? So you don't know what they put in your body. For a long time, like, this stuff has woke me up. Like, people are asking me to do stuff. I don't know what I'm putting in my body. This stuff is permanent. if you put something in your body and you don't know what's in there and something's messing around, it can have permanent, lasting effects, and you would never know. It's crazy. So, like I said, though that Wendy Williams joint ain't recent, they've been playing this game for a long time, and now, hopefully, it starts to catch up to them.
Now you might be dropping like a body, cause this is what they wanted. Take a look at all the bodies. 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies dropping on the floor. I say we assemble, take up arms, declare another war.
Oh gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like the way he broke that down, that was fire, man. I actually want to see if I can go back a little bit, cause that,
floor. I say we assemble, take up arms, declare. Look at all the bodies. 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies dropping on the floor. I say we assemble, take up arms, declare another war. Donald Trump is compromised. Man,
hey, straight facts. And for those that might love him, looks like he's compromised. Sorry to tell you, I was never really fully a fan. He did some good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but on this one, no, that whole like Operation Warp Speed and all that kind of stuff, man. Ain't nobody coming through and saying, you know what, we got it wrong. My bad. Like ain't nobody doing that. It's deserved. Somebody needs to come out and do that, but they're not doing that, man. They just keep doubling, tripling, quadrupling down, and people just getting hurt. This man say 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies dropping on the floor. Yo, y'all see what I mean by like switch up his style?
Forget the other 4. I don't follow men no more. Now sit back and watch me roll. All of a sudden, bodies dropping by the dozen.
Yo, he said I don't follow man no more. I'm not even messing around no more, man. Like these people, they are rotten to the core. And of course, right? Like that's the sin nature in people. That's always going to be trying to kill their brother. Cain and Abel is the first example of it. Always trying to get over on somebody else. But he's like, I ain't following these people no more, man. They're not trustworthy. They have no integrity. Why would we continue to trust them? Like, why would you continue to trust people with your lives like that? I don't know.
And now you buzzing. Let me guess. Now you gon' blame it on the Russians. See your cousin drop. She was helping.
Let me guess. You gonna blame it on the Russians? Hey, yo, low key, that's probably actually true. And you know what? I know I said like, how you gonna continue to trust these people like in these positions? Like, man, until Jesus comes back, we almost don't have a choice, man. These people have they've set themselves up in such a way that you don't even know the depth of their involvement in your daily life. Like all the food that we eat, all the gas that we ought to put in our cars, and the car industry and the pharmaceutical industry. People have infiltrated these large scale places, and they are playing God in the midst of all of it. And then they'll say but this is for your own good. Come on, man. This is some wild stuff.
She didn't have the muffin top. They got you to take the poke. You only had a sudden cough. Crazy. They tell me this, and let me guess. Now you gon' blame it on the Russians. See your cousin drop. She was healthy. She didn't have the muffin top. They got.
Yo, he said your cousin dropped. She didn't have muffin top. She was in shape, and she just dropped. And you where did it come from? Come on, man. You running out of scapegoats there.
Got you to take the poke. You only had a sudden cough. Crazy. They dumb me down when they come around, and now you pushing up daisies. Put the guard down for a cart and let them poke you with the gravy. Now you watching sports and bodies dropping all over the court.
Oh,
this is what they wanted, dropping
Oh
bodies.
my goodness.
Every time I turn the TV on, they dropping bodies.
Stop it.
Chicago ain't got that.
Oh my gosh, dude! For those of y'all who can't see this, y'all gotta go back and watch the video, man. He's just kind of chronicling these athletes that's just going down, someone face first, just gone.
on these bodies. They dropping left and right. We try to tell you about these bodies.
Like every time he says bodies, it's like boom, like they're hitting the ground. Boom, bodies. It's sad, man.
Hey, we try to tell you about these bodies, but you didn't want to listen about these bodies.
Yeah, he's holding
Now
his
you
heart.
might be dropping like a body, cause this is what they wanted. Take a look at all the bodies.
All around the world. It ain't just here in America, man. Like people going down all over the world, clutching their hearts.
I don't mean to brag.
So this last little part is maybe y'all heard about it recently, but like this lady comedian, she went on stage and was talking about the vaccination, and she was talking about how she was quadruple poked, and so Jesus must love her the best. And then there's something about mocking God that God don't tolerate that stuff. Nor should he. God ain't a chump. God ain't no punk. But people go in here, man. They put the name of Christ on their lips, and they don't mean it in their hearts, and they blaspheme the Holy Spirit, and they take the Lord's name in vain. And God done already told you He ain't gonna be mocked. What you expect? Check this out. Check her out.
I don't mean to brag, I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, never got COVID, clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice, so nice.
Oh my goodness.
This is what they wanted, dropping bodies. Every time I turn the TV on.
It ain't funny. It's kind of funny because she's still alive, and she was kind of laughing at herself, right? But that how he dropped the beat back in, but bodies, and then she hit the floor. You can't mock God, man. Like, and it's high time people understood, like, God will not be mocked. God is not going to continue to just allow people to take His name in vain, to use His creation for their own gains, to demonize His people. He will protect His bride. It's man. It's high time that people start understanding, like, God is not going to take that. And so one of the ways that I feel like Jesus, as He was walking down His way to Emmaus, right, as He's with His disciples, and obviously, like, man, the knowledge of God is inexhaustible. Like, God knows absolutely everything. He is omniscient to all things. And so it's not like God didn't see these past couple of years coming. It's not like Jesus didn't have it on His brain as He marched to the cross and in the midst of His resurrection sightings and stuff like that. It's not like He didn't know all the stuff that we would be going through, right? Even right now, standing or seated at the right hand of the Father, advocating for His saints, even now, looking at what we're going through, He's not caught off guard. It's not like any of His stuff is shocking to Him. But man, I would. This is my sinful self, right? Like, I would be hot. I'd be peed. I'd be pissed at all this stuff, man. Because everybody's like, they're like, we don't need God anymore. Like, they are so ready to be rid of God, the Almighty, the God who set everything in its place. They are so ready to be done with Him that they would say, I remember early on, one comment some scientist said, like, we know better for the body than the body does. And that it was like a red flag for me, because it was like, you mean to tell me that you think you know people better than God does? You think your product can do what God can't do? Man, it was a red flag for me, man. And it's been red flags ever since, man. They got Juvenile in them talking about vax that thing up. They got people giving away lotteries to get the joint. You got people getting fired. You firing nurses, police officers, and firemen because they don't want to put some kind of foreign substance in their body. Like, you make NBA players, people that are like, they are serious about their bodies. Like, they're serious about what they put into their bodies. NBA, NFL players. I remember what was his name for the Packers? The quarterback for the Packers. His name is escaping me. His name is escaping me right this second. But I remember they was on him because he was like, "No, He said he kind of lied about it, but he was like, "No, I don't want to put that stuff in my body." So we came up with a different alternative method to keep my body safe. They are serious about the stuff they put in their bodies, and they don't want the stuff, and they're fired. Like Kyrie couldn't play for a long time because of all the stuff and all the threats they were making against him. People were ripped out of the military, man, like 19 years in, and they told them, "Yo, peace. We don't even really appreciate your service because you wouldn't follow order." Not remembering, man, that we didn't. People, the primary part about the oath is you're oathing to support and defend the Constitution. It's the first thing. Like the first two sentences are about the Constitution. I do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. The first two stanzas are about supporting and defending the Constitution, not about just following orders that's turning out looking like they were illegal. Because you can't make people take experimental drugs. You can't do that. It's still in the experimental phase. It hasn't been long enough to go through any processing. People are still like in certain phases of the study. They're trying to figure it out, and they're changing it, which is supposed to restart the whole process. There's not supposed to be stuff on the books to make people go get it if there was already ways to treat it on hand, and they took those ways of treating it already on hand, demonized those, and then said, "No, we want people to take this." Bodies. And it's crazy because it's like we're not awake to it. And the reason why I named this episode Pharmakeia is because that is the Greek word for sorcery in the New Testament. And in Revelation 18, it talks about like how people are clinging to their Pharmakeia. People are clinging to all this sorcery, and they weren't clinging to God. Check this out. I want to read this to y'all. Starting in verse 21, Revelation 18:21. It says, "Then a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, 'So will Babylon, the great city, be thrown down with violence, and will be found no more. And the sound of harpists and musicians, of flute players and trumpeters will be heard in you no more. And a craftsman of any craft will be found in you no more. The sound of the mill will be heard in you no more. And the light of a lamp will shine on you no more. And the voice of the bridegroom and the bride will be heard in you no more. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, and all the nations were deceived by your sorcery,'" by your Pharmakeia. Pharmakeia. What does that sound like? Pharmacy. It's crazy. It's crazy that like the Bible is hipping people to this stuff, but because people don't really read their Bibles all this much, and they don't know what's in there, and they're not going back and studying the Greek and the Hebrew, and they're not doing like Bible studies with other Christians, and they're just kind of taking some of this stuff for granted. Let me read you this other one. This is Revelation 9. This was right after the sixth trumpet was blown. It says the rest of mankind, verse 20. Says Revelation 9 verse 20. It says the rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands, nor give up worshiping demons and idols of gold and silver and bronze and stone and wood, which cannot see or hear or walk. Nor did they repent of their murders, or their sorceries, or their sexual immorality, or their thefts, murders, sorceries, the Pharmakeia right there, or their sexual immorality, or their thefts. Man, we gotta pay attention to the word, man. We have to pay attention to the word. And I ain't trying to be up on those conspiracy theory type stuff, but if you believe what the Bible is talking about, these things will come to play as the prince and the power of the air is setting these things into motion, and he is dominating the lost. And then he'll pressure the church to follow the lost right into the pit of hell. Of course it's going to happen. Of course it's going to happen on a worldwide scale, because Jesus said the road to me is narrow. He said, I'm the gate. I'm the narrow gate. And it's a narrow road. Not everybody who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom. So there's going to be some that Jesus says, get away from me. I never knew you. He's going to separate the sheep from the goats. And it's like we have put our faith in the created things, like Romans 1 talked about. We have put our faith in the created things instead of the Creator, who is to be most blessed. We don't pray for headaches. We go take aspirin. I'm going to say that from here in America. I'm not going to say that in different parts of the world. Because different parts of the world, like I went to India, they do pray for their headaches. They don't have access to easy access to aspirin. But I'm sure some believer in the jungles of Brazil somewhere, they're praying to God for relief from their headaches, from stomach ache. They're on their knees begging God to save their family because they got a stomach ache, and diarrhea kills in some other countries. Here we go, take some Pepto, some milk and magnesia, right? We rely on this Pharmakeia instead of relying on God. We're relying on the created things and not the Creator. And now it's starting to catch up, man. We keep playing these games as if God's design for the human body wasn't exactly how He wanted it to be. And some people will probably say some stuff like, but yo, you wouldn't have said that during the Black Death. Maybe not. But we're not living in the Black Death. We live in during something that was highly survivable. Like 95% survivability. And we introduced a product onto the market that had a similar number, if not a greater number, of people going down because of the product. Not because of the virus, because of the product. The product was harming just as many, if not more people than the virus itself that it's supposed to be eradicating. They even went so far on some 1984 stuff to change the definition of what a vaccination is. Go look it up. Go look up the definition of vaccination from 2018 to what it is today. They went through and changed the definition. You're like, well, who are these people? I don't know who these people are, man. They're changing the definition of words. They're getting people to forget the God of their youth and go away from Him and forgetting that God is the great pharmacist, the healer of our souls and our bodies. Forgetting that. And they'll justify it by saying, but God gave knowledge to people so that people could heal. But in the human heart, because our heart is like an idol factory, we've clung to the created things and not the Creator. So we don't take an aspirin and say, God, please help this aspirin work. We don't do that. We go to that aspirin jar and you say, aspirin, get rid of my headache. And if the aspirin don't work, we go buy another product. We don't run to God. If we got a cold or something like that, if we got the flu, some kind of way, some kind of virus is infecting our body in whatever kind of way, we don't go on our knees. We go to the doctor. And the doctor usually prescribes some, antibiotics, if it's bacterial. Or they'll tell you to go get some NyQuil, put some vapor rub on your chest, trusting in the Pharmakeia, as opposed to the Creator. This stuff ain't new, man, and the Bible warns against it. The Bible says that, God, at the end of all things, it's like, I am going to It's like I'm going to throw a millstone into the sea and get rid of these people who are relying on their own methodology as opposed to what I do for them. And their stuff ain't even working right. It's killing them. God has got to be sitting in heaven like, yo, I'm sick of being mocked by these people. I'm ready to start the new phase because these people wilding out. Yo, the song is banging. I'll drop the link in the description, man. Y'all can go back and listen to it without all my crazy pauses, and you can hear how he flows it all together. Because I'm sure you couldn't get a good vibe for how he was doing it with all the interruptions and conversations. And yo, I'm gonna leave the. I was gonna say I'm gonna leave a couple other songs that I like in the description, but we didn't really talk about those on the show today, so that's all right. I ain't gonna do that. But I hope y'all doing well, man. I hope here's my prayer, man. Like that you could see Jesus walking down the road to Emmaus and saying, "Yo, there's gonna come a time when people are gonna trust the created things rather than in me." So I'm gonna put the words on the lips of Paul. I'm gonna put the words on the lips of Peter. I'm gonna put the words on the lips of John, and hopefully they will hear me saying, stop trusting in the created things. I have the power over life and death. I have the keys to Hades. I am in control of all things. All things are in subject to me. Hopefully people can hear Jesus saying that as he's walking down the road to Emmaus, because now as we're living in it, and people, like I said, are on some 1984 stuff where they're not even paying attention to it. When are we going to come back to the Bible and see the Bible for what it is? As warning shots across the bow saying, come back to Christ. Stop trusting in these created things and trust in the Creator. But I'm going to leave it there for today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show, man. Love y'all. Hope y'all doing well, man. Thank y'all once again for the love and support. Y'all hit me up if y'all need me. I'm praying for you. Love y'all. And until next time, grace and peace.